Chungoum. Est-ce que M. Martin Chungoum est avec nous? On me fait dire qu'il devrait y avoir des problèmes de connexion parce que je ne le vois pas, mais on s'est dit qu'il va nous rejoindre d'ici la fin de cette cérémonie. Il aura donc l'occasion d'adresser cette importante consultation. The next speaker on our list is someone who has the responsibility to drive the African Union agenda on food security and nutrition. She joined the African Union in 2017, and because of the success or her achievement, she was reconfirmed to the position or re-elected to the position of Commissioner for Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy, and Sustainable Environment. She works prior to joining the African Union as a special advisor to 2 ministers in Angola. I want to invite Her Excellency, Ambassador Joseph Asako, my boss, the Commissioner, to take the floor for her remarks. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Simplice, for giving me the floor. Good morning, every one of you. Bonjour à tous les participants. Son Excellence Abdourahmane Cissé, ministre et secrétaire général de la présidence de la République de Côte d'Ivoire. Excellence, Monsieur le ministre de la Santé de la République de Côte d'Ivoire, Mr. Martin Chungoum, Secretary General, Interparliamentary Union, Mr. Chris Nikoy, Regional Director for West and Central Africa, United Nations Food and World Food Programme, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed. It gives me great pleasure to address this high-level consultation on food fortification in Africa, which the African Union is co-organizing with the government of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, the United Nations World Food Programme, through the Regional Center of Excellence Against Hunger and Malnutrition, SEPTEMBRE, and the West African Health Organization. Let me, at the onset, convey warm greetings from His Excellency Moussa Faki Mohamed, the chairperson of the African Union Commission. In line with the theme of our consultation, which dietary approach to reduce micronutrient deficiency in Africa, the African Union, its member states, and its partner recognize the prevailing challenge of micronutrition deficiencies, collectively and commonly referred as hidden hunger, which is a leading cause of morbidity or comorbidity, blindness, weakened immunity, stunted physical or cognitive development, and hemorrhage during childbirth. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, after steady declining for a decade, world hunger is on rise again, affecting 9.9% of people globally, or 811 million people. From 2019 to 2020, the number of undernourished people grew by as many as 1,161 million. A crisis driven largely by this crisis is driven largely by conflicts, climate change, and lately the COVID-19 pandemic. UNICEF statistics further indicates that the burden of undernutrition and micronutrient deficiency remain unsolved, particularly in low and middle class income countries, where about 200 million children are affected by stunting, or watching and almost twice as many suffer from deficiency in vitamin and other essential nutrients for their health. In Africa, about 256 million people in the continent remain hungry, representing an increase of some 44 million people from 2014 period. The CADEP biannual review report of 2020 revealed that Africa is not on track to meet its goal of ending hunger by 2025, that is in 4 years' time. Nothing a deterioration in food and nutrition security on the continent since the inaugural report in 2018. A disproportionate distribution of the undernourished population across the continent is observed, with 17 million of the 256 million being from North Africa and 239 million being from Sub-Saharan Africa. This regional outlook in part also masks in-country and in-region differences across the continent. According to the Global Hunger Index report of 2020, micronutrient deficiency, or hidden hunger, is shown as alarming in 8 African countries, namely Burundi, Central African Republic, Chad, Comores, the DRC, Madagascar, Somalia, and South Sudan, and serious in more than half the continent. With nine years remaining in the pursuit of the Sustainable Development Goal, it is time for renewed action on ending hunger. Hunger and malnutrition in all its forms and fortified food has proven to be effective in fighting against hidden hunger. One caused by lack of food, but by food that lack essential micronutrients necessary for growth and development. This consultation is thus an opportunity for us to exchange and share experience and good practices in food fortification at the global, regional, and national level, with a view to accompanying and supporting the effort of African countries to eliminate malnutrition in all its forms. The global COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the necessity to transforming our food system in a way that supports more diverse, sustainable, healthy diet with strong food safety and ecosystem resilience considerations. Complementary strategy for combating micronutrient deficiency includes industrial food fortification, biofortification, food supplementation, and the promotion and consumption of diverse diets. Biofortification has been identified in the African Common Position to the UN Food System Summit as one of the strategies for responding to nutrient challenges, especially for rural populations who rely on staple foods that are micronutrient poor. In Africa, biofortification is achieved through conventional non-GMO breeding technology. To date, biofortified crops have been released in 38 countries in Africa. Among these, 13 countries have so far added biofortification crops to their policies and programs. This effort has been particularly useful among smallholder farmers with limited access to diverse diets, commercially fortified food, or supplementation program. In order to promote biofortification on the continent, the African Union Commission and partners have developed a framework for scaling up biofortification in Africa. This framework will be submitted to the 4th Specialized Technical Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Water and Environment of the African Union for endorsement next month. This framework will be supported by a declaration on scaling up food fortification and biofortification in Africa that will be submitted to the African Union Policy Organ for endorsement by the summit of the of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government in February 2022. In this framework and declaration, the African Union intends to call for the following action in support of food fortification and biofortification on the continent. Support and promote innovative projects and businesses that invest in production, processing, packaging, and distribution of nutrient-rich foods. Encourage public procurement of produce from farmers producing biofortified foods with a view to incentivizing them, as well as industrially fortified staple food and the condiments. Encourage farmers' input support program to incorporate biofortified seeds and training activity in order to bear large impacts. Promote the inclusion of biofortification and fortification in relevant health programs, including aunt and postnatal counseling and infant and young children feeding program, and strengthening system for intersectoral collaboration among institutions and for cooperation with non-state actors such as farmers' organizations, civil society, academia, and private sector for implementation of this agenda. Finally, the African Union will work towards inclusions of indicators related to food fortification and biofortification in the CADEP-BR process to guide planning, implementation, and reporting on progress food fortification and biofortification on the continent. Our deliberation, I will say, in this consultation, we no doubt fit into these processes. I thank you all for your kind attention, and I wish all of us a fruitful deliberation with productive outcome. Merci beaucoup. Muito obrigada. Shukran. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much for your very insightful remarks. You certainly brought out in your remarks the centrality of food fortification in the actions of the African Union, providing the policy directions of the African Union to promote food fortification on the continent. We certainly hear your call to stakeholders to support these policy directions for the promotion of food fortification on the continent. And certainly, as mentioned by the previous speakers, you look forward to tangible outcomes out of these consultations. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this very insightful words. Our next speaker is Mr. Chris Nicoy. Chris is the World Food Program Regional Director for West Africa. He's based in Dakar. And Chris has worked for more than 24 years in that institution and has extensive experience in leading and overseeing diverse and complex operations, as well as developing strategic partnerships at national, regional level, and also with the donor community. Mr. Chris Nicoy, you have the floor. Mr. Chris, your mic is still closed. Can you open your mic? Thank you.
Okay. His Excellency, Mr. Abdurrahman Siste, Minister and Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, Her Excellency Ambassador Josefa Sako, Commissioner for Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy, and Sustainable Environment of the African Union Commission, Mr. Martin Chongon, President of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hope all protocols have been properly observed and respected. Let me start by congratulating the government of the Cote d'Ivoire and also the African Union, the West Africa Health Organization, and the Regional Center of Excellence Against Hunger and Malnutrition, the CEFAM, for their collaboration to organize this high-level consultation on food fortification. My thanks and appreciation are also extended to all the African Union member states and also countries from other continents, high-level officials and experts from the United Nations sister agencies, international and national organizations, donors, movements and networks, civil society organizations, including the private sector, who have accepted to share their expertise and experience in this area. The World Food Program is glad to be part of this initiative and believes this is a crucial moment to harness the potential of food fortification as a game changer to address micronutrient deficiencies, mostly known as hidden hunger, towards better nutrition for all, paving the way for enhanced food security and sustainable food systems. This is strongly aligned to the aspiration, the first aspiration of the African Union Agenda 2063, and also the Agenda 2030 of the United Nations, particularly the Sustainable Development Goals 2 and 3. By that I mean SDG 2 on zero hunger, and then SDG 3, healthy lives and well-being for all. The state of food security and nutrition in the world, the SOFI, as we call it, 2021, highlighted that around 811 million people in the world faced hunger or faced hunger in 2020. And this means that an estimated 118 million more people were facing hunger in 2020 than in 2019. The numbers show enduring and also troubling regional inequalities. About 1 in 5 people were facing hunger in Africa in 2020, more than double the proportion of any other region. Ladies and gentlemen, while food fortification is not a silver bullet or a standalone solution to malnutrition, it is one strategy in the toolkit with many advantages. It is cost-effective. It has been demonstrated repeatedly through history as an effective method in reducing micronutrient deficiencies, and it can complement other long-term strategies to change food systems and also behaviors. The SOFI report 2021 estimated that a healthy diet, one that meets energy needs and is also rich in vitamins and minerals, is 5 times more expensive than a diet that meets energy needs only. But this energy only sufficient diet is what many people in the world rely on every day. A healthy diet is simply unaffordable for 3 billion people in the world. And food fortification is one strategy that we can use to close this gap. It can make diets that provide all the nutrients needed for a healthy life become more available, affordable, and more attainable. It has the potential to address specific micronutrient deficiencies such as iron deficiency, which is a significant challenge in developing countries. And that increases the risk of many things, including premature delivery and low birth weight. In West Africa and also globally, WFP supports fortification, both through our own programs and through also supporting governments' fortification efforts. We source and provide fortified foods such as cereals, oils, and salt in our food assistance programs, including in school feeding programs. We also, as WFP, we provide technical assistance to small-scale food producers who want to produce fortified foods. We play a facilitating role in countries, connecting and assisting governments and small-scale food producers to fortify staple foods locally. And we advocate for and promote fortification in national and international policies and also in policy dialogues. Let me highlight this large-scale fortification of one of the main staples in the region and in the continent as a game-changing solution to tackling global malnutrition. We are particularly excited about rice fortification, given the tremendous impact it could have if implemented at scale. Places where rice is an important contributor to the diet often happen to overlap with areas where micronutrient deficiencies are most common, which brings an enormous opportunity. Fortifying rice has great potential to help fight hidden hunger on a large scale and without having to change dietary habits. We have already seen lots of progress in this area, including governments mandating rice fortification, the continued scale-up of the number of people reached by fortified rice in social safety nets to more than 20 million people per year, and more than 50 brands of fortified rice on the markets in low and middle-income countries. But 2 billion people are still deficient in micronutrients globally, and there's still much progress to be made. Some of WFP's initiatives in West and Central Africa, and just to name a few countries, in the Côte d'Ivoire, in Senegal and Mali, to just name a few, have produced successful results and already suggest that increased focus and massive investment in rice fortification can be a key strategy to improve food security and nutrition. In the Côte d'Ivoire, WFP is supporting the government to implement mandatory rice fortification. Together, we have conducted preliminary studies, including a landscape analysis, a technical feasibility study, and a cost benefit and health benefit analysis. Last month, we held a national workshop for private sector actors in the rice value chain to provide information and awareness on rice fortification in Côte d'Ivoire. An acceptability test will be launched this year to kick off this pilot project. In Senegal, WFP is partnering with the government to pilot the introduction of fortified rice in the menu of school canteens in 3 of its regions. WFP has supported preliminary studies, including a landscape analysis, an acceptability study, and study on the most common methods for rice preparation. We have also developed a social and behavior change communication strategy to support pilot projects of locally produced fortified rice kernels and distribution in school programs targeting something like 111,000 nutritionally vulnerable school children. To address the persistent malnutrition across the region, the Achat Local, Transformation Alimentaire, and Amélioration de la Qualité, local purchase, food processing, and quality improvement, which was funded by the Agence France de Développement, aim to strengthen resilience by improving the quality and accessibility of high-quality nutritional products for children and other vulnerable groups. The approach focused on supporting and building capacity of local manufacturers to produce high-quality fortified foods in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Senegal. In Mali, WFP has launched a pilot to test whether fortified rice kernels from Thailand mixed with local rice could work as a feasible business model. Preliminary results of the project indicated that it was technically feasible to blend fortified kernels with local rice, and that fortified rice in school meals was favorably perceived. Preparation was easy, and the taste was enjoyed, not basically acceptable. This rice has been distributed already in 600 schools, which are supported by WFP. And from studies, we know it has provided something like between 37 and 100% of the daily nutrient needs of the children. Ladies and gentlemen, during this consultation, we'll be hearing about different initiatives, and participants will have the opportunity to share their experiences and learn from each other. I encourage all participants to take advantage of this unique moment to discuss food fortification on the African continent and to come together with innovative paths moving forward. An inclusive and comprehensive set of recommendations and a smart and bold action plan that will address the political, strategic, financial, and operational dimensions of the whole issue of a question of fortification. Finally, I would like to remind that while fortification has enormous potential, the process can be complex, and no country should navigate this alone. We need partnerships. And this is why WFP is happy to support this event, so that we can learn from each other's experiences, each other's successes, and also our failures, so that together we can boost or enhance progress in tackling micronutrient deficiencies and make healthy and nutritious and diversified diets a possibility for everyone in this region and on the African continent. I wish us fruitful two-day discussions, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nikoy, for sharing with us these valuable highlights of the work that WFP is doing in food fortification to address the many challenges of food and nutrition security on the continent. You certainly, in your speech, demonstrated how food fortification could contribute significantly in reducing the cost of healthy diet on the continent. So thank you very much for this insightful work, and thank you again for joining us at this opening ceremony. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, c'est maintenant l'honneur pour moi d'inviter notre hôte de marque, qui est nul autre que le représentant du gouvernement de la Côte d'Ivoire. Le gouvernement de la Côte d'Ivoire est un partenaire important à l'organisation de cet événement. Son Excellence Abdourahmane Cissé, ministre secrétaire général à la présidence de la Côte d'Ivoire et ingénieur de formation, et a fait beaucoup ses pas dans la finance internationale au niveau de Goldman Sachs International. Son Excellence Abdourahmane Cissé, avant d'occuper le poste de ministre secrétaire général, a occupé de nombreux postes stratégiques au sein du gouvernement de la Côte d'Ivoire. Excellence Abdourahmane Cissé, je vous invite à prendre la parole pour le discours d'ouverture.
Monsieur le ministre de la Santé de la Côte d'Ivoire et mesdames et messieurs les membres du gouvernement des pays frères et amis du Nigeria, du Burundi, du Tchad, du Burkina, du Mali, du Sénégal, de la RDC, du Madagascar, du Brésil et du Ghana. Excellence, Madame l'ambassadeur Josepha Sako, commissaire de l'Union africaine chargée du développement rural, de l'économie bleue et de l'environnement durable. Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants des organisations régionales, sous-régionales et partenaires au développement. Mesdames et Messieurs les spécialistes de la nutrition et points focaux SUR. Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants du milieu académique, du secteur privé et de la société civile. Mesdames et Messieurs, je voudrais au nom de son Excellence M. Alassane Ouattara, président de la République de Côte d'Ivoire, vous adresser nos chaleureuses salutations et vous exprimer nos remerciements pour votre participation à cette rencontre virtuelle de haut niveau. Elle témoigne du grand intérêt que vous accordez à la réflexion qui sera faite sur les avancées de l'enrichissement des aliments en Afrique, avec pour thème « Quelle approche alimentaire pour réduire les carences en micronutriments en Afrique ?» Je salue la collaboration avec la Commission de l'Union africaine et l'Organisation ouest-africaine de la santé, dans le cadre de cette consultation virtuelle organisée par la République de Côte d'Ivoire, le Programme alimentaire mondial, tous deux partenaires à travers le Centre régional d'excellence contre la faim et la malnutrition, le CERFAM. Nos remerciements vont également à l'endroit de l'ensemble des partenaires techniques, financiers et donateurs pour leur accompagnement constant aux efforts du gouvernement ivoirien dans la lutte multidimensionnelle contre la malnutrition. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, l'Afrique, particulièrement l'Afrique de l'Ouest et du Centre, supporte le fardeau de la faim et de la malnutrition. Il touche une grande partie de la population. Ces fléaux viennent accentuer le retard dans le développement économique, capital et humain des pays africains. Par ailleurs, nos pays sont aussi confrontés à plusieurs formes de malnutrition, ciblant plus particulièrement les femmes et les enfants de moins de 5 ans, parmi lesquels figurent les carences en micronutriments, formes qui sont les moins visibles et souvent les plus oubliées. Elles sont responsables de morbidité, de mortalité prématurée, de réduction de capacité de travail, de réduction de la performance à l'école, de l'altération du développement mental et bien d'autres handicaps. À l'instar des pays de la sous-région, la Côte d'Ivoire n'échappe pas à ce fléau. Si certains indicateurs nutritionnels, comme la malnutrition chronique et l'allaitement maternel exclusif, présentent de bonnes tendances en vue d'atteindre les cibles de l'OMS en 2025, la carence en fer pose un véritable problème de santé publique. Toutes ces réalités font de l'alimentation, de la nutrition, une préoccupation pour nos sociétés et surtout pour les générations futures. L'ampleur des conséquences des carences en micronutriments sur la santé des enfants et des femmes en Afrique de l'Ouest justifie l'engagement de l'ensemble de nos États et des institutions nationales et régionales dans la mise en œuvre d'actions concrètes. C'est pourquoi le président Alassane Ouattara, champion de l'Union africaine pour le suivi de la mise en œuvre de l'agenda 2063, a fait de la lutte contre la faim et de la malnutrition une priorité dans son agenda national, mais aussi régional et continental. Ainsi, le CERFAM a été créé en 2019 et la Côte d'Ivoire lui apporte un soutien financier annuel. En outre, la Côte d'Ivoire conduit le processus d'endossement par l'Union africaine de ce centre, ainsi que l'inscription de la nutrition au prochain sommet de l'UA afin de déclarer 2022 comme année de la nutrition. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, éliminer la faim et la malnutrition à l'horizon 2030 est une priorité et une nécessité pour l'ensemble de nos pays. Et nous ne devons pas perdre ce combat. Nous ne pouvons pas perdre ce combat. Plusieurs solutions en Afrique de lutte contre la faim et la malnutrition ont fait leurs preuves et méritent d'être promues. Et ce, d'autant plus que la pandémie de la COVID-19 a un impact important sur nos populations. Depuis le début de la pandémie, plus de 32 millions de nos populations sont tombées dans l'extrême pauvreté en Afrique subsaharienne. La transformation des chaînes de valeur alimentaire devient plus que nécessaire pour rendre les systèmes alimentaires africains résilients, sains et nutritifs. Ainsi, l'enrichissement des aliments, aussi bien la fortification que la biofortification des aliments, figurent parmi les stratégies adoptées à cet effet. Plusieurs pays d'Afrique de l'Ouest, dont la Côte d'Ivoire, ont rendu obligatoire la fortification des aliments tels que le sel, la farine de blé, les huiles alimentaires et le riz. Ils ont également mis en place des cadres réglementaires favorables. Cependant, la biofortification reste encore timide dans nos pays. Par ailleurs, une attention particulière doit être accordée à tous les déterminants de la malnutrition, avec un focus sur les femmes enceintes et la petite enfance, en promouvant l'allaitement maternel et les aliments de complément appropriés. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, l'événement de ce jour offre un cadre d'échange et de partage d'expériences et de bonnes pratiques en matière d'enrichissement des aliments. Compte tenu de la qualité des participants, nous n'avons aucun doute que cette rencontre permettra d'avoir des recommandations fortes, des solutions innovantes et bien entendu des méthodes pour la mise en œuvre de ces solutions. Parce qu'il est bien beau d'avoir des solutions, mais le plus important, c'est la mise en œuvre des solutions. Donc, nous comptons sur vous pour avoir des solutions concrètes, un calendrier de mise en œuvre et aussi des possibilités de financement de ces solutions. C'est sur ces mots que je souhaite d'excellents travaux et que je déclare ouverte au nom du président de la République de Côte d'Ivoire la consultation virtuelle de haut niveau sur l'enrichissement des aliments. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Son Excellence le ministre secrétaire général, pour ce discours d'ouverture qui donne vraiment le ton aux discussions que nous allons avoir pendant les deux jours à venir. Vous avez certainement posé les jalons, mais plus important, vous nous avez indiqué que le tout n'est pas d'avoir des solutions, mais c'est d'avoir des solutions qu'on doit mettre en œuvre, des solutions implémentables. Je pense que ces mots ne sont pas tombés dans des oreilles de sourds et que pendant les discussions, à chaque fois que les panélistes ou les intervenants discuteront des solutions, ils devront surtout penser à la mise en œuvre de ces solutions. Donc, merci beaucoup, Monsieur le ministre, pour ces mots d'ouverture. Je voudrais, au nom des organisateurs, remercier le gouvernement de la Côte d'Ivoire, le CFAM, l'Union africaine et la Commission et l'Organisation ouest-africaine de la santé pour cette brillante initiative qui contribuera à coup sûr à l'agenda continental sur l'enregistrement des aliments avec des solutions innovantes et des actions concrètes à mettre en œuvre par les États membres et par les partenaires. Merci beaucoup encore tous les intervenants de la session d'ouverture. Donc, à situation exceptionnelle, nous avons des approches exceptionnelles. Nous allons passer à la prochaine articulation qui est la photo de famille. Et certainement, on va me demander comment est-ce qu'on fait une photo de famille virtuelle. Je voudrais inviter tous les participants à ouvrir leur vidéo. Tous les participants, ouvrez vos vidéos et sous la conduite de l'équipe technique, nous allons faire une photo de groupe. Ouvrez vos vidéos et quand j'aurai fini de compter de 1 à 3, nous allons tous dire à très haute voix fortification. Donc, prenez un peu d'eau pour avoir... Ouvrez vos microphones si vous voulez. Prenez un peu d'eau parce que nous allons... Je vais compter de 1 à 3 et à 3, nous allons tous dire fortification. 1. J'espère que les techniciens sont prêts pour les photos. Il y aura 2 pages pour les photos, donc je vais compter 1, 2, 3 et ensemble. Fortification. Et ensemble, fortification.
Fortification.
Obligatoire, fortification obligatoire.
Fortification obligatoire. Merci, merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup, Excellences, Mesdames, Messieurs. Merci de nous avoir accordé de votre temps. Nous savons combien vous êtes occupés en ces jours. Merci de nous avoir occupés, de nous avoir donné de votre temps pour assister et pour nous prodiguer des conseils à cette session d'ouverture.